Hi angels, welcome back to another resin video. So we're gonna be making another resin letter. I haven't made one of these in a while, but I bought this mold from a different seller. I only bought one letter because the H mold got ripped, so I just needed to replace it. I was gonna order the same mold, but then I saw this one. I was like, okay, I have to try it out. It's 10 inches. I'll leave the link down in the description box of the seller I got it from. These vinyl sheets I also got from Etsy's. I will leave the link down in the description box down below. And before, I was showing you guys some alcohol ink because that's what I was going to use before, but I ended up not doing that. So what I did was I just cut out the vinyl sheets. And now I mixed my resin off camera. I'm just pouring it down into the mold. I feel like if I have a cold. So this is how it looks. I'm just going to be putting down the vinyl sheets into the resin. I'm just pressing it all the way down to get the bubbles out. I definitely have a cold. Pressing it down to get the bubbles out. And there's one more. This one is the lion. I think I put this one on incorrectly. I think I was supposed to flip it. I'm not sure. The resin letter is not dry yet. I'm just doing a voiceover. So I'm just using my lighters to get rid of the bubbles. And now I'm putting down there some dry pressed flowers that I also got from Amazon. I was debating if I should just use the alcohol ink or the flowers or whatever. I just decided why not just try out the flowers, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm placing out all of the flowers, pressing it down so that the resin can get on top of the flowers. That's my heater, the noise in the background. I'm just trying to fill in wherever there's any little space, any little spots, so yeah. By the way, I'm holding the phone in my hand while I'm doing this because my stand that I usually place it down on broke, so yeah, it's gonna be very shaky. And that's it. So I'm gonna let this first layer dry for 24 hours and then go on back in there with the rest of the layers until it's filled all the way up to the top. And this is it. It looks, I don't know, I'm hoping it turns out great, but we will see when it's finished. It looks okay. Now the first layer is dry. I just mix up some clear resin again. I mix it up off camera, and I'm just pouring it down into the mold, pouring it on top of the flowers and all of that, so I can get the bubbles up and rising, so I can pop it. Okay, since there's a ton of dry flowers in the mold, obviously there's going to be bubbles that's underneath the flowers and stuff like that. So with my little stick, I'm going to be poking at the bubbles so they could rise to the top. Sometimes they pop on their own. Sometimes you just need to use a lighter to pop it. So I'm just pressing on the flowers just in case if there's any bubbles underneath, it can just rise to the top. For this one, there's a ton of bubbles underneath the flowers, clearly. So I'm just pushing them out to the center. And I'm just going to use my lighter on some of them. Since these flowers are completely dry, Keep in mind that if you use the lighter, obviously the flowers could possibly catch on fire. So I'm going to show you guys what I mean right here. See? Start lighting. I would highly suggest using 99% ibuprofen alcohol to get rid of the bubbles. But I like to use my lighter, so I know there's a ton of bubbles in there, but trust me, I'm going to get them up and out. This flowers right here, the green one I'm going to show you guys, had a ton of bubbles because on the flowers, it looked like if it was just like holes on there. So I had to be pressing down on it to get all of them up. There's some big bubbles, some small bubbles. Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. With my lighter again, and the flowers didn't catch on fire. Exactly. Now I'm just pressing them on this flower so the bubbles underneath it can just rise to the top. Sometimes it takes a few seconds for it to rise. Sometimes it just pops up just like that. I'm just going to be pressing it on all of them until I see no more bubbles. And yeah, we gotta let this layer dry for 24 hours before we go in with the other layer. I think it was the final layer. Okay, so I mix up my resin off camera again. This time I add some pigments. I had some black resin left over. Also, I had some clear resin, and I mix up a big amount of green because I wanted green to be the background. So, yeah. Pouring down my resin. After I pour down this layer of resin, I went over it with my lighter to get rid of the bubbles, and I just left this layer overnight for 24 hours for it to be fully cured and dry. Putting down there's some clear resin, and I'm just gonna go in with my little stick to make some swirly lines. Swirly, swirly. It doesn't stay like this when it's dry, but this is actually pretty fun, so that's why I keep on doing it. Okay, so this is how it turned out. I personally do not like it. The vinyl sheets, they're not popping up like they usually do. Usually you can see it more. I probably should have added blue instead of green for the backdrop. This did not turn out how I thought it would in my head, but I'm gonna try again. Maybe it will turn out better. Maybe not. Who knows?